Well, the ANC intensifies its election campaign with its national officials led by President Cyril Ramaphosa doing door-to-door campaigns. This engagement program aims to galvanize communities ahead of the national and provincial elections. It also comes a day after the ANC submitted its candidate list and all required documentation to the IEC for it to be eligible to take part in these general elections. Well, our reporter Juniour Khumalo is in Ekurhuleni and he joins us now. Juniour, good morning to you. Talk to us about the activities we'll be seeing the ANC undertaking this morning.
Good morning to you and to our viewers. The ANC is actually going to be in Ekurhuleni today, led by the President Cyril Ramaphosa, as the party campaigns in all parts of Gauteng today. The ANC is concentrating on Gauteng because we know that the province is one of those that is going to be hotly contested come this year's elections. But we are here with the Ekurhuleni leadership, the chairperson, Dr. Tlagaza. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. Why is the President here today in Ekurhuleni?
No, thank you very much for having us. We're very happy as Ekurhuleni, the ANC, as you can see, the volunteers are out in their numbers. And really to welcome the President as we're kickstarting our election, campaign. And really the President will be doing the vote, the much needed voter conduct, but also, we'll then have a public meeting later on. But ours really were very happy because we think, we get to demonstrate our readiness for these elections and that indeed the President must come and talk to our people and deliver, the manifesto commitments.
It's going to be a challenge for the ANC to basically win over support in Gauteng because there's been a lot of instabilities when it comes to Tshwane, when it comes to Johannesburg. In Ekurhuleni right now there was a vote of no confidence against the mayor. Where does the ANC stand when it comes to that vote of no confidence, and should South Africans continue to vote for the ANC in this province?
Well, what matters is the commitment that the ANC has demonstrated over the years. The track record speaks for itself. If you look at Ekurhuleni broadly, here in Daveyton where we are today, much improvement have actually been made. We've delivered electricity, water. Of course, there's a few other challenges that we must still resolve. As you know, Gauteng is growing. And I think we must, deliver even to meet, the growing demand. To cater for residential growth, but also to cater for economic growth. But we think really we in council are making the right call because we do need a stable leadership. We do need to deliver, to our communities. We do need, it is the ANC that leads, the majority of the seats in council, and the ANC and its programs that talk to the majority of the wards, can't be, left out. We must make sure that everything in terms of the finances of the city, everything in terms of governance, everything in terms of delivering on the basic services is actually not compromised. But most importantly, we believe that with our experience, with our resolve, with a clear program, we are able to offer, stability in these councils. And come Tuesday, the ANC will be taking a lead of the city going forward, and our people will receive much better services than, the previous, DA-led coalition and some of the things that we're trying to correct today going forward.
Thank you so much, sir. That is the ANC's Ekurhuleni chairperson, Dr. Tlagaza, just talking about the leadership of the ANC here in Ekurhuleni. We know that there's been a bit of instability here with the mayor being basically, there's a motion of no confidence basically against the mayor. There's also been a lot of instability in Gauteng in general, in Tshwane as well as Joburg. So there's also been, we also have the provincial leadership actually that's here, and the national leadership. Let's just take one last person, the ANC's national head of elections. Sir, thank you so much for joining us today. You are here in Gauteng. Why have you decided to come into Gauteng today?
Well, Gauteng is an important province in this country, as you know. It's the biggest economy of the Republic of South Africa. The majority of our voters in this country, the registered voters, are found in Gauteng province. So it becomes a very strategic province for the African National Congress. And this weekend, with the president here in Ekurhuleni, with the deputy president in Tshwane, with the national chairperson in West Rand, with the first DSG in Citibank region, and of course the Treasurer General in Johannesburg region. So you can see we've decided that this weekend we are attacking the Gauteng province, led by the first among equals in the movement, which is the President of the African National Congress. Is to convey a message about the strategic nature of this province and the importance that it has, and that which the ANC also attaches to the province of Gauteng.
As the ANC's head of elections, we cannot talk about the IEC. The IEC has basically admitted that one of its officials has leaked the ANC's list. Just to get a comment from yourself as the ANC, what are your thoughts about that admission by the IEC, and what should happen going forward?
Well, the Secretary General has communicated with the IEC formally about the concern of the African National Congress with regard to this matter of the league list. I do hope that during the course of this weekend, the SG will get a proper explanation as to what has happened. Our own view as the ANC is that the IEC remains and has been over the past 3 decades a strategic institution to ensure that in this country we have legitimate, free and fair elections and which are beyond reproach. And of course, what has happened yesterday, we regard it as one exception, which of course we will be made to understand in detail when the SG engages with them as to what has happened. But of course, as the ANC, we retain our unquestionable confidence on the credibility of the IEC and their ability to deliver free and fair elections in the Republic of South Africa.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. That is the ANC head of elections, Dumseni Ntuli, just saying, despite the IEC having admitted that one of its officials was responsible for that leak in the ANC candidate list, they still retain a lot of confidence in the IEC's capabilities to run a free and fair elections.
Well, Juniour Khumalo, our reporter on that story, speaking to us live from Ekurhuleni. And of course, election season certainly heating up as the country prepares for this year's national elections. AlJama-ah is today launching its manifesto. The organization is set to outline to its members its aims and policies which govern its structures. AlJama-ah has in recent years made its mark most noticeably in the city of Johannesburg, as seen by the election of its members. Former Mayor Ahmad and current Mayor Kabelo Kwamanda. Well, let's take you now to Newzroom Afrika's Katleho Sekhotho, who has more from Lenasia. Katleho, a good morning to you. We know many political parties are moving full steam ahead in the launch of their manifestos and campaigns. What is AlJama-ah looking to offer the voter?
Good morning, Naledi. It's certainly a big day for AlJama-ah here in Lenasia, where the organization launches its manifesto. So some of the points as noted in the manifesto is that the party is promising decent jobs for all, clean drinking water, respecting the rights of children, and also considering and taking quite seriously crime and safety within communities. And as you mentioned in your introduction there, Naledi, the AlJama-ah making a noticeable mark in Gauteng, particularly in the city of Johannesburg, where we see currently sitting Mayor Kabelo Kwamanda, but previously also former Mayor Thapelo Ahmad, who joins me now, who is the Gauteng chair and a premier candidate for the organization, just to take us through the expectations for today. I mean, Mr. Ahmad, can you take us through what we can expect through the launch of the manifesto, and what voters can expect from you as an organization?
Thank you so much, Katleho. I would like to greet the viewers at home. We are at Harmony Primary School, Lenasia. This is one of the wards that we are governing as AlJama-ah. The councillor here in Ward 9 is our councillor. So precisely, we are a party that was formed in 2007. We were founded in Cape Town, and obviously in a mosque or a masjid, right? You would understand that that is the base for a political mass mobilization. It's either a mosque or a church, like any other political party. So that's where we were founded, and we are a political platform for all communities, not only limited to Muslims. It's also important to reiterate that we represent everyone, because the issues that are the social ills in communities, they affect everyone, irrespective of race or creed or even religion. So what we need to expect here today, you can see we are in a hall. We are not participating in a competition of filling up stadiums because everything is here. We don't want to tweet and say people went out for lunch, you know, and blame our failure to the people. We are keeping it intimate, and we understand as we're keeping it intimate, those who are able to come, they will come, and those who are unable to come, probably they will watch from the television or they will hear our manifesto from the news. So it is very critical also for the viewers to tune in. It will start at 11 o'clock, and the President will probably deliver the manifesto at 11 o'clock. So, yeah, this is what the viewers and the listeners have to expect from us.
Yeah. Now, Mr. Ahmad, we've seen the mark that AlJama-ah has made, particularly in the city of Johannesburg, yourself being former mayor, but it was all tied in with coalition structures. Just take us through some of the challenges you've seen in the coalition negotiations and discussions, particularly in COJ. As we know, your exit at the time that you left was marred with controversy. You were facing a motion of no confidence at the time. I mean, how does AlJama-ah enter coalitions considering the upcoming elections?
Look, we are a trusted political party. We have demonstrated through governance in Lenasia in particular, in Ward 9. So Ward 9 would be in the form of our pilot project, and it's a prototype for the viewers or the communities to see the potential of AlJama-ah governing. And we've done that in the city of Johannesburg. The former Chief Justice, Mogoeng, he says there's only 2 effects in South Africa. So it emanates from him aspiring to be an independent candidate. So he says it's a Mandela effect and an AlJama-ah effect. So we have instilled hope in a whole lot of residents in South Africa, precisely. So not just South Africa, but in the continent as well, because it was said, we are just a party of smaller margins, but we are alive with possibilities. It has nothing to do with numbers, but it has everything to do with how you position yourself, how you articulate, how you the relationships that you have, how do you salvage on those relationships. So of course, yes, I was a mayor in the city of Johannesburg, and its history of its own. Number one, the media doesn't talk about the young leadership. AlJama-ah has given the country young leadership. We are mainly focusing on discrediting the personalities, but what the country wants to hear, we do not talk about. So let's say, for argument's sake, Kabelo Kwamanda is a current mayor, and he's doing very well in the coalition. And I know that there's a notion that coalition government or coalition construct doesn't work. Coalition construct, it works precisely if you are able to put mechanism and an ecosystem that would speak to any person who would come into power. So let me argue to say our space, it's only borrowed and it's temporarily. So if your term of office, after 5 years, every mayor will vacate the office, or every office bearer will vacate the office. We've seen in the recent development in the city of Johannesburg, we've lost 2 mayors, unfortunately. One which was Comrade Jeff Makubo and Comrade Joliti Matongo. But that disruption didn't upset the ecosystem of the administrative work. It was seamless, and then even the handover or the succession plan was seamless. Similarly to when I vacated office, Kabelo Kwamanda was there. There were mechanisms in place, and he ran with them, and this is why you see there isn't any form of disruption. But mostly, sometimes it also, the issue of personalities, the issue of egos from political parties or political personnel, because remember, we are also contesting the very same space and the very same power that we want to transform the status quo of our people out there.
We'll leave it there for now, Mr. Ahmad. We'll certainly discuss more of these other issues as the day continues. Now, lady, you've heard it there from Thapelo Ahmad, just outlining the day ahead, AlJama-ah launching its manifesto, but also highlighting that today will be about, members discussing their aims and goals ahead of the national elections, also hoping to do well in certain areas, but also pointing out that it's an intimate session here in Lenasia, and hopefully keeping in touch with the community, but also saying it's not about throwing a show, but making it an intimate space that invites everyone in.
Well, that's our reporter Katleho Sekhotho speaking to us from Lenasia, there where AlJama-ah is launching its manifesto. They're not the only ones. The African Christian Democratic Party is also launching its elections manifesto in Johannesburg today. The party says its policy statement will inspire and bring hope to many South Africans who have been undermined by the current administration. Its president, Kenneth Meshwe, says without the ACDP's intervention, South Africa will be in more danger than it has ever been before. The ACDP is the sixth biggest political party in South Africa, with 4 of its members in parliament. Of course, we have our reporter, Zola Sholwana, who is covering this event. Zola is speaking to us this morning from Ellis Park Stadium. Zola, good morning to you. Activities expected this morning?
Well, Naledi, what I can tell you is that there has been a number of ACDP members making their way to the arena, and this is obviously to hear, written intentions by this political party that has 4 members in parliament and about 22 councillors across the country. When we had a conversation with the deputy president earlier on, he mentioned that there's been a public outcry of service amongst everything else, saying that that's going to be their main focus today when they're presenting their manifesto, and they said their focus is on SOS, which is service, and also security as part of that. But to tell us more, we've got the Deputy President of the African Christian Democratic Party. Sir, thank you very much for your time. When we had a conversation earlier on, you did mention that there is a public outcry, and the SOS that you'll be mainly focusing on today in your manifesto will be a response to all of that.
Well, absolutely. The ACDP has heard the cry of the millions of South Africans, some 25% that are in the throes of poverty, some 33% of our South Africans who are unemployed. On the expanded definition of unemployment, it's over 40%, some 60 to 70% youth unemployment, crime that is out of hand. So there's an SOS that has been going out. There's a groaning from South Africans, and the ACDP has heard the groaning. The groaning in terms of the SOS service, there's a lack of service delivery. No service delivery in terms of some basic stuff, in terms of refuse collection. Just driving to the venue here at Ellis Park Arena, we've seen mounds of refuse on the streets, not collected by the municipal authorities. There's challenges with regards to infrastructure development. So service delivery is something that is huge. There's a lack of service delivery, and many South Africans can identify with that. Secondly, the aspect of order. There is disorder that we find from a national level all the way down to local government level. There's no compliance with regards to legislative laws that are there, your supply chain management, your systems and your structures act, your finance management acts. These particular acts that are there to actually safeguard the finances and the fiscus of our economy. The fiscus has been plundered, the budgets are being plundered from a national all the way down to a local government level. There's no order, and the ACDP says, we're saying to South Africans, we've heard your cry, and we are bringing order. At our manifesto launch, thousands of our members are coming from all parts, all 9 provinces, coming to Gauteng to say to South Africans, we will bring order. And then security. It is so sad that we have in South Africa the murder rate. The number of people that are murdered in South Africa exceeds the deaths in the Russia-Ukraine war. We are a nation that essentially is at war with itself, and it's because of a collapse of the inability of SAPS to arrest and then to prosecute murderers and rapists. The sad thing is that we have in murder and rape there are only 10%, a 10% conviction rate for murders and rape in South Africa, which means that rapists and murderers have a 90% chance of getting away with their crime. The ACDP says we will be tough on crime, zero tolerance, and we commit to South Africa to bring the order, to bring service, and to ensure that our people live in safety and security.
Thank you very much for your time. So now, Naledi, that was the ACDP Deputy President, basically saying that they will be focusing on service, order and security, as they have heard a public outcry from South Africans saying that South Africa is a country that has no order and there's also poor service delivery. And now talking about security, there are issues of rape and also crime, and that will be their main focus. And of course, we will give our viewers an update after we have heard the manifesto that will be read by this political party that is led by Mr. Reverend Mesher. Back to you in studio.